Moai statues, chilly. They stand in silence, their stone faces fixed on the distant horizon, as if waiting for something, or someone, that never came. Scattered across Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, more than 900 of these monolithic statues known as Moai remain one of the world's greatest archaeological mysteries. Each Moai is carved from solid volcanic rock, some towering over 30 feet and weighing more than 80 tons. Many appear only as heads because their torsos are buried deep in the earth, yet excavations show they are full-bodied figures. Most face inland, their backs to the sea, almost as if guarding the island's people, or perhaps keeping something hidden within. Carved by the Rapa Nui people between the 13th and 16th centuries, the Moai were likely representations of ancestors or deified chiefs. But that's where certainty ends and mystery begins. How a small island population with no metal tools or wheeled transport managed to carve and move these giants across rugged terrain remains a puzzle. The island has few trees now, but it once had dense forests. Some theories suggest that the Rapa Nui cut down the trees to roll the Moai across the land, triggering a devastating ecological collapse. Others argue the statues moved upright using ropes in a rocking motion, an impressive feat, if true, but still speculative. What's even stranger is that the Moai were eventually toppled in a sudden, unexplained reversal. At some point in history, nearly all the statues were pushed over. Was it war? Rebellion? Earthquakes? No one can say for sure. Then there's the question of the eyes. Originally, the Moai had coral eyes with painted pupils, said to be installed only once the statue was raised, bringing them to life. Some believe the Moai held spiritual power, a kind of mana, and that removing or toppling them severed a connection to the ancestors. Despite modern research and experimentation, the mystery persists. What truly motivated the creation of these statues? Were they purely symbolic, or did they serve some forgotten function? And why, on this isolated island in the middle of the Pacific, did an entire society pour its soul into stone? Olmec colossal heads, Mexico. In the steaming jungles of southern Mexico, giant stone faces lie half-buried in the earth, silent, unblinking, and eternal. Carved with striking detail and astonishing scale, the Olmec colossal heads have baffled historians for decades. Who were these faces meant to represent? And how did a civilization over 3,000 years ago create such massive works without metal tools or beasts of burden? The Olmecs are often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica. They flourished around 1200 BCE, long before the Maya or Aztecs. Yet the stone heads they left behind seem to belong to a civilization far more advanced than once imagined. Each head weighs between 6 to 50 tons, carved from single blocks of volcanic basalt transported from quarries miles away. Some stand over 10 feet tall, with features so lifelike that scholars believe they may be portraits of rulers or warriors. Each one has a unique expression, stern, commanding, solemn, as if staring across the centuries with forgotten authority. But here's the mystery. How did the Olmecs move such heavy stones across swamps, rivers, and dense forest? No evidence of wheels. No beasts of burden. No clear roads. The terrain they would have crossed is unforgiving even today. Some suggest they floated them down rivers on rafts. Others imagine an army of workers dragging them on log rollers. Yet no method explains it completely, especially given how many heads exist. Then comes the deeper question. Why? What were these heads meant to do? Were they monuments to power? Guardians of sacred spaces? Or something more symbolic? Meant to watch, remember, or warn? Adding to the mystery are the features themselves. Wide noses, full lips, flat faces, traits that have led to wild theories of pre-Columbian contact with Africa. Mainstream archaeologists reject this, emphasizing indigenous Mesoamerican identity. But the debate persists, fueled by the head's enigmatic appearance and lack of inscriptions. They tell no story, offer no names, leave no voice behind. What's more, the heads are often found alone, not with bodies or temples, just the face watching. Some were deliberately buried, as if hidden from memory or preserved for future discovery. Were the Olmecs trying to protect these faces, or erase them? Nomoli figurines, Sierra Leone. High in the hills and deep in the soils of West Africa, tiny stone figures lie buried, silent witnesses to a civilization no one remembers. They are called the Nomoli figurines, and though they have been found in modern-day Sierra Leone and Liberia, no written record or oral tradition can explain who made them, when, or why. The Nomoli are carved from various stones, soapstone, granite, even steatite, and depict human-like figures with oddly proportioned bodies and heads. Some have swollen cheeks, bulbous eyes, or animalistic features. Others appear to wear armor, sit on thrones, or carry unknown objects. Their expressions are often stern or sorrowful, like they were meant to remember something or someone long forgotten. What baffles researchers is their context. These figures are often found deep underground, sometimes as far as 50 feet below the surface, in locations where no other signs of ancient settlement exist. And even more strangely, some of the anomaly have been discovered alongside metal spheres and fragments, including a mysterious alloy resembling chrome steel, something supposedly impossible to find in objects thousands of years old. How did it get there? And what civilization had the ability to produce it? The local Mende and Kissi peoples claim the figures were already in the earth when their ancestors arrived. In their tradition, the anomaly are considered sacred guardians, often placed in fields to bless crops or protect from misfortune. Yet even these communities do not claim to have made them. Some researchers have suggested that the figurines could date back over 2,000 years, possibly remnants of an unknown West African culture predating recorded kingdoms in the region. Others dismiss the metallic finds as modern contamination, though no one has proven this conclusively. And the deeper puzzle remains. Why are these figures so stylistically advanced, with features and postures not typical of early tribal art? A few theorists have gone further, suggesting ancient travelers, or even extraterrestrial contact, left behind these relics. The exaggerated heads and eyes, the strange posture, the mysterious alloy. For those inclined toward ancient astronaut theories, the anomaly are a tantalizing breadcrumb. But even without those theories, one thing is certain: the anomaly shouldn't be there. They don't fit into any known cultural lineage, and yet they continue to be unearthed, mute, inscrutable, and enduring. Perhaps they were buried to be protected. Or maybe they were hidden, not meant to be found. Either way, the earth of Sierra Leone still keeps their full story buried, just out of reach. The Bade lizard statues. Long before the rise of Sumer and Babylon, in the shadowy beginnings of Mesopotamian history, a forgotten culture left behind something deeply unsettling: figurines that look nothing like humans. Found at archaeological sites in Alabade, these statues depict beings with long faces, slanted eyes, and smooth, lizard-like heads. They are the Abade lizard figurines, and they raise more questions than answers. Dating back over 7,000 years, the Abade culture predates writing, pyramids, and kings. It was one of the earliest complex societies on Earth: farmers, artisans, and temple builders who lived peacefully along the Tigris and Euphrates. But among their everyday pottery and tools, archaeologists discovered something jarring: dozens of humanoid statues with clearly reptilian features. Some of these statues show what appear to be mother figures cradling infants, others stand in formal poses as if engaged in rituals. Their long heads, narrow eyes, and scaled patterns suggest something non-human. And yet, they were clearly important. Crafted with care, placed in homes or temples, perhaps even revered. Were these symbolic, mythological, or representations of something, or someone, the Abade people truly believed in? Mainstream archaeologists classify them as religious or symbolic artifacts, possibly linked to fertility rites or protective spirits. But that explanation feels incomplete. No other Mesopotamian culture that followed produced anything similar. The Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians left behind a rich pantheon of gods. None resembled these reptilian forms. This gap in continuity fuels alternative theories. Some suggest the statues represent a forgotten race, perhaps one remembered in distorted legends of serpent gods. Others go further, speculating they were modeled after real beings not of this earth. In ancient astronaut theories, the Abade figurines are cited as evidence of early contact with non-human intelligence, recorded not in texts, but in stone. Adding to the mystery is the complete lack of inscriptions. These statues are mute. No names, no origin stories, no guidance on their purpose. And they vanish from the archaeological record as suddenly as they appeared, leaving behind no trail, only questions. Why did a peaceful Neolithic people depict reptilian beings with such detail? Were they spiritual symbols, forgotten myths, or memories of something stranger? And why do they seem to exist only within that one brief chapter of time, never to return? The Abade lizard statues remain among the most inexplicable artifacts of the ancient world. Figures from a time before history, staring out from clay with cold, unblinking eyes. San Agustin statues, Colombia. Deep in the misty highlands of southern Colombia, scattered among the tangled roots of the Andes, lie hundreds of ancient statues, silent, stoic, and otherworldly. These are the San Agustin statues, relics of a mysterious pre-Columbian culture that left no written language, no known descendants, and no clear explanation for their stone creations. Over 500 statues, some towering over 20 feet, have been unearthed in the San Agustin Archaeological Park. Carved from volcanic rock, these figures depict gods, warriors, jaguar men, bird-headed beings, and hybrid creatures that seem born of dreams or nightmares. Many hold staves, grimace with sharp fangs, or clutch objects of unclear purpose. Some appear human, others defy all classification. But who made them? Archaeologists date the San Agustin culture to between 3300 BCE and 900 CE, but beyond that, almost everything is speculation. The builders left behind no writing system, no monuments bearing names, no record of why they carved such strange forms. The society that once thrived here disappeared long before the Spanish arrived, vanished into the mountains, leaving only stone. The statues are not randomly placed. They guard tombs, line sacred paths, and cluster near underground chambers. Some scholars believe they served as sentinels between the worlds of the living and the dead, part of complex funerary rites. Others argue they encode cosmological knowledge, star alignments, dualities, the balance between jaguar and eagle, heaven and earth. But one thing is certain, these were not decorative works. They were sacred, deliberate, and deeply symbolic. Yet the symbolism is now lost. What's even more mysterious is the architecture surrounding the statues, dolmens, burial mounds, and stone altars that resemble structures found in distant cultures, like those in Southeast Asia or Neolithic Europe. Coincidence? Or a lost link between ancient civilizations now forgotten? Alternative theorists have latched onto the San Agustin figures as evidence of lost wisdom or even extraterrestrial contact. The non-human faces, the hybrid forms, the apparent reverence. They suggest, to some, a memory of beings not from this world. Mainstream scholars dismiss this, yet cannot fully explain the symbolism. Today, the statues stand in silence, half swallowed by the jungle that once worshipped them. Their eyes, some round and wide, others slitted and stern, seem to watch more than time. As if they are waiting, remembering, or perhaps warning. The people are gone. The language is gone. But the stone still speaks, if only we knew how to listen.